Let's see, we did have one general public comment slip, but I think the vice chair's misplaced it. But we'd like to call Mark Massara up to the podium. I think, as you all know, Mark has been a longtime advocate for the Sierra Club. And Mark, we understand that this may be your last meeting with us as their advocate, and we wanted to thank you for the great work you've done as a strong advocate, and maybe just give you a bad time for a few minutes. Vice Chair?
Well, I just have to say I think we'll miss your going straight to the issue. We'll miss your turn of phrase, and we will miss you before us. So hopefully in your new role, as you go on to many new jobs, you find an opportunity to continue to be an advocate for us in coastal protection.
Commissioner Wan?
I certainly will miss you. I've known you all of these years, including the years that we worked together as advocates out there. And I'll miss you because of who you are and how you've conducted yourself. But I think the Commission will also miss the presence of an advocate. Government really, to work properly, needs to hear from both sides, and you have really been a strong and consistent voice on behalf of protecting coastal resources, and we will miss that.
Commissioner Blank?
Yes, Madam Chair. Mark, I've described you to others as kind of the bow shock of environmental and coastal protection. The rest of us catch up later, and a bow shock usually is the compressed air in the front of a missile or something going at hypersonic speeds that the rest of the body catches up with. And I think that's been your role, at least since I've been on the Commission, is calling it sometimes before the rest of us ever see it. And at times I've found it incredibly annoying, irritating, but always correct, and which made it doubly irritating. So we are going to miss you. The coast, unfortunately, will be worse with your departure, and I'm incredibly jealous of whoever got you. So thank you for your contributions.
Commissioner Stone?
Thank you. Mark, I'd like to thank you for your work with Sierra Club, and I think what we should be doing is sort of mourning the loss of the program at the Sierra Club, because I don't think we're going to be missing Mark. I think Mark's going to be before us on many different occasions and many different issues, just potentially in a different role, but still a staunch advocate for the coast. And we appreciate what you've done with Sierra Club and look forward to working with you on future issues.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Mark, we met back in 2000 at the Queen Mary, and I've always seen you as a very honorable advocate of the people of this state of California and this country. Thank you.
And Commissioner Mergarimi?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mark, you are what is everything right about, I think, a very sensible and yet visionary environmental movement. I know we'll continue to see you in whatever capacity. I trust that. But similarly to Commissioner Stone's comments, I think in many ways the environmental movement in this country has gone completely soft and slightly haywire. That the Sierra Club would actually eliminate its Coastal Watch program is absurd beyond belief. And that I think that for good people who have the kind of talent, skill, professionalism, and unwavering dedication like yourself and others, I think that this typifies a trend nationally and where environmental organizations are going. So they all want to have postcard campaigns, whether it's Greenpeace or Sierra Club and others, to try to get the national leaders or international leaders to do something about climate change. They got to wake up. Mark, we know you'll be there with us.
Director Douglas?
So, Madam Chair, when the Coastal Act was being drafted back in 1971 and 72, one of the fundamental elements was public participation. There was no question that what happens to the coast is a public interest, a public issue, and should involve not only transparency of process, but public advocacy and involvement. And that's been one of the hallmarks of the coastal program. And I think, I mean, when I am asked what the accomplishments of the Coastal Commission are, among those things that you don't see is the empowerment of citizen activists to participate in the program in terms of advocating for strong coastal protection. The problem has been that it's costly to do that. It's not a free of cost to come to all these meetings, to get the background, to be informed. And when you look at the history of advocacy before this commission, we have had basically one person for a period of time, and that's it. We had Commissioner Wan before she was a commissioner. She was paying out of her own pocket to be at commission meetings, advocating public access and public interest and habitat issues. And we had Susan Jordan for a while doing that, and Mark Massara. Mark has been doing this for over 10 years. I forget how many years you've been doing it. And as Commissioner Blank said, sometimes your pithy, colorful, hitting the mark or being off the mark is irritating. But the role that you play that's so important is keeping our institutional feet to the fire and keeping us honest, because you've been there at all these meetings, and when an issue comes up that nobody else brings to the attention of the commissioners, you stand up for what you believe needs to be taken into consideration by the commission. And I think that's a very valuable public service, not just to this commission, but to the public and the coast. And I agree with those who've said that it's a real travesty that the Sierra Club thought this was an area where they could cut their funding so that they could do other things. I think that's very short-sighted. I'm sorry that we're going to miss you here. You're not going to be here. I know that you'll probably come back in another incarnation in the not-too-distant future, and I hope that happens. And I hope that there will be a successor to the work that you've been doing, because this commission would really be impoverished by the absence of that kind of advocacy. So thank you for doing. And the other thing is, too, Mark was paid so little. I know that because I've asked him over the years, the amount of personal sacrifice that it's taken to do the work that he's been doing. That's to me, very noble work. And thank you for doing that, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. And Commissioner Mercury?
Just an afterthought. I understand that Carl Pope is leaving the Sierra Club, who's the executive director of the Sierra Club. We'd be glad to write you a recommendation for that post.
May I make a comment?
Yes.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, thank you. This is overwhelming. The privilege has been mine. It has been a luxury as an environmental lawyer to be able to do this work over the last 17 years, and before that with Surfrider Foundation. I want to thank you because even though Sierra Club has been gracious enough to fund all of this work all of these years, it's been the Commission and staff that have essentially been my workplace and my family for all of this work. And to be able to work with you on literally thousands of projects over all of these years on the most cutting-edge environmental issues in the United States, on everything from offshore oil and gas and liquid natural gas terminals, sonar, resorts, golf courses, ports development, the development and protection of resources in our communities up and down the coast has been something that every environmental lawyer would love to have the opportunity to do. And for me, it's been just one big, great ball of fun. And I want to thank you for indulging me in this process. And you're right, you haven't seen the last of me. I'm going to find a way to continue to preach environmental protection and sustainability because it's good for the economy. And I think we've proven that over and over again here. And I want to thank you for that opportunity. And especially thank Priscilla, because I'm confident that her entire basement is filled up with transcripts of all of my 3-minute speeches. And I just really want to say I've appreciated the opportunity and look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. All the best.